Hi. So I just wanted to join you because I do have some other questions for you that I think a lot of our attendees and people that watch this afterwards would like to know. And so the first one, and this is one that I'm curious about. And again, I just thank you for participating in this. Oh, wait, we have one from Jayla. Have people started recognizing you in public? That's a great question.
I mean, not real. I've had a couple people. I was at Home Depot one time buying something, and someone said my name. And usually when someone says my name, or sometimes I feel like I hear my name, but then I don't know if they really said it. So I just kind of pretend that I didn't hear it because I don't want to look stupid and being like looking around, and then I'm just like, oh, I'm just imagining things. Or it's somebody that I went to high school with because I still live in my hometown and I don't like really seeing people from like high school. I feel awkward. I'm just like, oh, hey, how have you been? Haven't seen you in 5 years.
Right.
But yeah, it just ended up being someone who followed me, and I was like, oh, hi. There's been like a few times, but it's not like every time I go out, somebody's like, oh my gosh, I follow you. Like that doesn't happen. Like it's nothing like that. I'm just like, I'm pretty much a loner. And a mask and everything, I wear like my sunglasses.
Oh, you can just cover up
mask and my sunglasses over, and I'm just like, this is great.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so the question that I wanted to ask was, what does a typical shoot day look like for you? So I know that there's a lot of planning, or you use Pinterest and things like that. But on the day of, because for me, when I have a shoot day, it's one of the longest days that I could ever have, because you have to do your own makeup, you have to get all the looks together, you have to do the set design yourself, and then set up the camera. So tell me, typical day for you look like?
Well, it depends on if I already have, like if it's spontaneous or if I've been planning it. So for spontaneous days, like last year I did a shoot that was based off of like shadows, and I grabbed like my mom's trash can and a flashlight, and that one only took like a few hours because it wasn't really hard to set up, and my makeup is fast. I do the same thing every single time. But when it comes to like shoot days, like okay, I have this set that I'm building like in the guest room, or yeah, in the guest room. Um, what I do is I have like my inspiration book, and from there I'll look through it. If it's something that is really difficult that I don't know how to create, um, like for example, like a foam machine that I recently did, or a giant like box, or I made a giant flower last year. Then I watch a lot of YouTube videos on people who have done like that on a. Usually people do it on a smaller scale, and I'm just trying to figure out how to make it on a bigger scale. But the foam machine one, I was actually trying to make that on a smaller scale when people were doing it on a big scale because they were doing it outside. So I do like a lot of research on how to create it and read a lot of articles, like how-to articles and stuff like that. And then from there, if I already have the supplies, which majority of the time I do, I don't. Recently, I've been able to buy more supplies, but when I didn't have like extra funds to buy anything, I would just walk around my house like an hour trying to like think of what we had to use in replace of majority of the things that were needed. So then I just make sure I get all my props together. If I need little stuff like cardboard or glue or something like that, then I'll go to Target to get it, or Walmart. But usually Target. I like always go to Target. And then from there, I start building it. And so sometimes it takes me 8 hours. Sometimes it's taking me 12 hours. Sometimes it's taking me 19 hours. And sometimes it's taking me a whole week because certain things, it's like trial and error. Um, an example of that would be I tried to make like a box of water for me to put myself in to be like a giant cup of water, and it kept leaking, and I couldn't figure out why. And I didn't have the patience to use silicone and let it dry and then redo it, even though that's what I should have did from the beginning, because it kept leaking and I was trying to figure out how to not make it leak. And then when it comes time to shooting, for that one in particular, I only shot for 15 minutes because it was like 50 degrees outside and the water was freezing and I was in a bathing suit. So I was like, I'm done. I hate this
Right.
shoot. Not like I hate it, but like I hated it because I was so irritated and I get so frustrated, especially when things don't, which is all the time, things don't always come out the
Yep.
way that like you're
Yes.
imagining it in your head.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my gosh. Or sometimes I order something and it doesn't come the way it's supposed to, or I didn't measure it correctly. And I'm like, man. But yeah, from there I'd like create the set and everything. Then I pick outfits. Usually picking outfits is like last, unless I already have an outfit in mind that I want to do, and then I base a shoot around that. But that rarely happens. So then I'll pick outfits and look through my closet, look through my mom's closet, and try and figure out what I can use to like create an outfit that I haven't done before or that I've kind of done, but like make it a little spicy or something so it doesn't look like this I'm using the same outfit over and over and over again. And then I charge my camera. I always put on a movie because it just I don't know. I don't know.
So, okay, question, because that is one of the QAs. We want to know what is your favorite movie or a couple, because like me, I have a few in different
Oh
genres.
yeah,
And then what is on your playlist right now? Hmm.
yeah. Okay. So for movies and TV shows, I don't have a favorite because I watch so much like TV, stream so many movies and everything. But when I'm shooting, I always watch something that I've watched a million times that I can imagine it in my head to where I don't have to focus on it and I already know what's happening. Like I can just like, oh, that's when Perry punched Doofenshmirtz in the like toe or something like. So Phineas and Ferb, Teen Wolf, love Teen Wolf, any Marvel movie because I've watched them
Okay.
a million times. Um, oh, any old Disney Channel show or like movie. So Proud Family, That's So Raven. Any of those, like I've seen million. I swear probably a million times because of how many times I've watched it. So yeah, playlist wise, right now I'm listening to Black Panther because of everything that happened with Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace to him and everything. It made me go back to that whole album, which I hadn't listened to in a while, and I like forgot how good that album really was. I was so excited for that, so I've been listening to that, and then Black is King, that album.
Mm-hmm.
So those are two are like on repeat right now.
No, that's great. So another question that I wanted to ask was, so which one first? Tell me about either a dream collaboration like that you could do tomorrow, or just a dream project that you would want to do if you had somebody wrote you a check with whatever budget. What would you do creatively?
Okay, so dream collaboration would has and will always be until I get it. Vogue magazine because I want to be on the cover of Vogue and like creative direct and model it. Somebody else can shoot it though. Like I do like taking photos, but it's not like my favorite thing to do. So, and I think so. There's so many talented photographers that capture stuff that I couldn't even imagine like getting that angle or think of. That I'm just like, oh, that's amazing. Um, Creative wise, I've had this concept forever, but it's so expensive um, that I yeah, that's not gonna it's not gonna happen anytime soon unless somebody does write me a check for like $30,000. But technically, basically, the concept is like a giant chessboard, and there's chess pieces. I would be the queen, the black queen on the black side, and then the white pieces and the black pieces would be floating, but like tilted and hanging all over um, the board, and then I would be wearing like this extravagant black dress with like a black crown and everything, and then it would have a train, and I would be floating in midair with all of the fabric like floating, or like there was like a gust of wind, and everything was just like I don't even know how to explain it that well, but yeah, that's a concept that I've had forever, and I looked into it a while back, and the company that I saw that did like giant chess pieces, which are 6 feet tall, which would be perfect, cost $10,000, and then I had reached out to them to see if they would like send it to me, and then I can send it back, but they said that I would have to have collateral, and I was like, I don't have any collateral. All I have is my word. So
Right. Especially, wow.
that's it.
But so I'm glad that you just spoke that out loud, because you never know. Maybe in a year or two, there might be just that blank check and they're like, go ahead and create your vision. So um, that brings me to,
Maybe.
she's like, yeah.
Maybe. We'll see.
um, the next question. So, do you have any advice for our Black women creators who are just starting out as a model or a photographer, either self-portrait or not? But when it comes to creative directing, are there any tips that you can give when you're first starting out and trying to build your brand or portfolio?
The best advice that I can and will always give people is to never give up, because it seems like, especially during this time with social media and everything, that you see people like go viral, and then they're like millionaires overnight, or just
Mm-hmm.
have money overnight, or they get brand deals like in after a week of them going viral or something like that. And then you see other people, and it doesn't happen like that. Like for me, it
It's a
didn't.
grind.
Yeah, it didn't
Yes.
happen like that. And I've had the conversation with my mom multiple times of, you know, being a black woman in an industry like this, you do have to work harder than other people. And it's just like a fact. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
light skinned. So like technically it's even not even technically, but like it's easier for me to a certain extent
Right.
than
No, I
someone who,
definitely understand that. Mm-hmm.
yeah, than someone who's of dark skin. Like if I was dark skinned, it probably would have taken me even longer. I don't know. But it's harder just as a black woman to make it in certain industries, especially industries that are based off of looks and um
A particular type of
yeah,
aesthetic.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that mostly European facial features, or white people like
Mm-hmm.
dominate or have dominated, not in the sense because they're better, but just because that's what society accepts. And
Mm-hmm.
it's really hard not to get discouraged. I mean, over time, there's been so many times where I want to give up, and it's just like I can't, because what else am I gonna do? Or just
Right.
because I've been doing this for so long, it would just be a waste to give up and just be like, okay, well, it didn't work. It's been 2 years, so
No, we
I
are, as
give up.
Black women, it's really hard for us to give up. Like, we're gonna get to our destination. So
Yeah,
that's
and oh, sorry.
go ahead, go
Oh,
ahead.
I was saying everybody has to remember that everybody's journey is different. Yours is not going to be the same as somebody else's. Like I've had my times, even now, where I look at other people, I'm just like, that's amazing. I'm proud of you, but like, can that happen to me too? And then I have to like catch myself and be like, no, because that's not
Mm-hmm.
meant for you right now. What's meant for you
Right.
will come for you. And I mean, I believe in God and everything like that. So I'm always praying and always just
Mm-hmm.
believing that what is meant for me will come. And that's what's been happening. And in the grand scheme of things, I mean, from 18 to 24 to be like where I'm at and do the stuff that I've been doing and the collaborations that I've done and have coming, it's not like a long time in reality.
Right.
Um, there's people in the industry that have been 10 years to get to where they are now. And sometimes people
Right.
like forget that because everything moves so fast nowadays that you're just like, oh my gosh, it should have happened already. It's just like, no, it shouldn't have. Just keep
Right.
going and pray and have faith and believe and just like take a deep breath, cry if you need to. I've cried like multiple times, and just keep going and do whatever like you need to do, but just don't give up, because if you give up, you never know where you'll end up being, and no one wants to look back and be like, dang, I wish I would
Right.
have kept going, because who knows where I would have been. Like if I had
Mhm.
given up last year, like mid last year when I kind of wanted to give up, I would have never made it to where I am right now, and I would have been pissed
Right.
because it's like, dang, all I had was like a year left to go, and I just gave up because it got too hard. So
Right. No, I mean, there are so many tidbits that you touched on, especially as a creative entrepreneur. So I've been a full-time entrepreneur for the last year. I left my corporate accounting job last year, and I got a lot of side eyes, a lot of why are you doing this? Why are you giving away your salary? Blah blah this, blah blah that. And even with like family and friends, when people don't understand your creative vision or the path that you might see, it gets very difficult to want to continue on, because sometimes you really just need like a cheerleader, or you need that support system. And so it's so important to not give up. And even now, a year ago, I can't imagine that I would be sitting here talking to you about a topic like this, from
yeah.
just, quitting my job and deciding 30 days ago that I was going to put this conference on. So it's so important to not give up. So the last question that I wanted to ask you, and everyone, if you have questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat.
I see one.
But
It says, "What was your favorite shoot on your IG?"
hmm, that's a good one.
Yeah, I have a few, but the one that I always like look back at and I'm just like, wow, that's a good photo. Is one where it was basically me in like a giant red peony, and the like concept was Thumbelina, and then I had seen these pictures of newborns in like little flowers, and I was like, oh my gosh, that is so cute. I could do that on a big scale, just an
Mm-hmm.
adult sized flower. And yeah, that's definitely one of my favorites, because it was trial and error and it was so irritating. But then when I finished, I was like, wait, did this come out good? And then I started editing it and I was like, oh my gosh, wait. I was like, this is amazing. I love this photo.
So what about, okay, my favorite photo that I can think of from your shoot is the one where you're like in the air and it's like this plastic bubble. And you're like action shot,
Oh, is it the
something
one where
like
I have like wings?
that. Yes, you have wings
Okay,
and
the one
it's
that
like
it
the
was,
plastic bubble.
yeah, it was inspired by SpongeBob.
Uh, that's the one. That's exactly the one, because I remember your commentary. So tell me about that day. Like, was it a difficult thing to do? How was the editing process? Like, tell us about that. And I'll share the picture with everybody after this so that they can see it. But, or, you can go to her Instagram.
Yeah,
I'll
it
drop it right
was
here.
it was one of the most annoying and hardest shoots, because the bubble, I had to get a new one because I left it outside and my dad thought I was throwing it away, so he threw it away. And I
Mm,
was like, I know you didn't just throw I know you didn't just throw this bubble away. That cost me $100 like a couple years ago, because
oh
I
my.
did a shoot with it in 2018, and so I bought it and I
Mhm.
was like, with an intent on returning it because I was trying to save money. It didn't come with a return slip, so I was like, oh, whatever, I'll just
Tell
keep
me about it.
it.
People reuse props for years.
No, I reuse props. I keep everything. Everybody always asks me, "What do you do with your props?" I keep them. I keep
Keep
them.
them.
I keep them. I keep them, and I reuse them
Yes.
all the time. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so it wasn't working, and so at first I wasn't even going to use the bubble. At first, I was gonna like try and make it seem like I was in the sky with a fishbowl, and then put the fishbowl around me, like have my mom hold it and camera, and then me click it. but it was distorted and it didn't look good and it was too far away and it just wasn't working. So then I was like, oh, okay, I'll just do the bubble. And then the bubble was thrown away. So the bubble wasn't existing anymore. And I didn't have money to replace it. So I told my mom, and my mom was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, I don't have the money. I was like, I don't, this is that. I was like, this was the shoot and I can't do it now because it's gone. And so my mom ended up buying the bubble for me, and I told her I'd pay her back. Well, technically, my dad would pay her back because he's the one that threw it away. So, yeah. And then, but she got me a new bubble, so I waited like a few days to get it. And then I stood on top of our trash can inside the bubble, and my mom was out there because I've had a bad experience with that bubble. I was home alone one time, and I blew
Oh,
it and I zipped it up. And since I use a shop vacuum, it blows, air into it. So if nobody's there, I needed to continually blow air into it because I can't unzip myself out of it because of how like heavy the zipper is. And the shop vac thing flew out. But then I left a space in it, so I can unzip it, but then the zipper got stuck. So I started panicking because I thought I was gonna be stuck in the bubble, and it was during the summer and it was hot, and I was like, oh my gosh, and I started having a panic attack, and then I had to calm myself down, and then undo the zipper, and then I
oh
got
my God.
myself out. But back to the SpongeBob shoot. I go on tangents so much. But anyway, so I was in the bubble, and then my mom was out. Basically, that story was because, yeah, so my mom was outside just to make sure that everything was okay and I didn't get stuck. So
Mhm.
she zipped me all the way up, and then I was standing on top of a trash can, and it was not cloudy, but there were clouds in the sky that day. So then I had my camera outside of the bubble and taking photos and everything. And what I was planning on doing was that I would take the photo, and then the bottom part of the photo, which you could see like the trash can, the sidewalk, our fence, and everything like that, I would just mirror the sky and put it at the bottom because the sky was already on
Mhm.
top. You could see like half and half, but you could also see the trash can. But I wanted it to look like I was in the sky. So
Right.
I did that, but then it was the way that the camera was angled, it was too dark, and I didn't have the outfit was cute, but it was really, really hot in the bubble. And since I was breathing, you had like it got foggy really fast. Yeah, so I had to like
Yeah.
keep wiping it away, and I was like, oh my goodness, okay. And so then we did it again the next day, and I was like, because it didn't come out as good. And I always, majority of the time, I show my mom photos, especially if I'm not feeling like it's good. So I'll ask her if she likes it, and she's like, I like the other outfit better. You can do it tomorrow. And I was just like, and I was already so over the shoot because I was just like, this isn't
Mhm.
working. Like it's not working out. I don't know what the heck is wrong with this. And she was like, just calm down and we can do it again tomorrow. I can help you again tomorrow. And I was like, okay. And so then the next day came and I did a different outfit. That's the one that you see, the orange outfit.
With the little wings.
And
Yeah.
yeah, with the wings and everything. We did it again. The only problem was there was no clouds in the sky. It was a clear day. And I was like, of course. Of course, something else would go wrong with this freaking shoot. Oh my gosh. And my mom was like, well, can't you just edit them together? And I was just like, yeah. And so I did. I took the photos and then I edited it. And at first, I just edited it with the regular sky because that was the, thing. And then it just looked like I had this weird blue backdrop, and I was just like, this doesn't make any sense. And so then I had to edit the photos that I took the previous day of the sky with the photos that I took the other day because my outfit and like my posing and everything looked good. Edit those together. So there was cloud. Basically, I was just editing clouds in the sky. So it didn't look like
I mean, but
black.
those are the details that matter to us. That can make or break the whole
Oh
thing.
my gosh. I still remember how irritated I was with that shoot. It was There's so many of my shoes I get irritated with because nothing ever works out the way that it's supposed to.
That you see
I
it in your
think,
mind. Yeah.
yeah, there's been like 2, 3 shoots max that come out. Those are because no, there's been two. Yeah, two. There's been two shoots that have come out exactly how I've imagined them or better, and I'm like, man, this was fun to shoot. I had a good time. It was easy. There was no hiccups. This is great.
Mm-hmm.
And those are, and I appreciate those moments.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so let us end this session with a final word from you. What would you like to say as far as providing inspiration to Black women creators in general? Just give us a final word and let's end the session.
Well, I guess my final word would be like kind of a reiteration of what I said earlier is that, you know, in a little expansion on it would be, people are going to doubt you, especially if this is the type of career as in um, creative or like entertainment industry or anything like that. People are going to doubt you, especially people who don't think this is a job or it's easy,
Right.
which is not, because there's so much more faith that you need to have, but you have to keep going, and you just
Mhm.
don't want to look back and like wonder what if, when if you would have just kept going, you would already know. So
Right.
keep going, work hard, know that you're going to have to work 5 times as hard, and if you're a dark skinned Black woman, freaking 10 times as hard, because
Mm-hmm.
and it sucks, but it's the truth, like,
Right.
just if you're a Black woman, you're going to have to work harder. And but keep going and don't give up, and have your doubts, and if you're upset, feel that, feel that you're upset. If you want to cry, cry, and then after you're done, wipe your tears, get back
Mm-hmm.
up, keep going.
Right. Exactly.
That's the end.
Right.
That's my last word.
Yes. Okay. Well, I just want to thank you again for participating in this conference. This has been a life-changing experience for me. And I'm pretty sure from all the feedback that I've gotten that the attendees are having an amazing time. So I appreciate you so much for taking time out of your Sunday to sit and talk
No,
with us. Kimberly.
thank
I
you.
really do. And I've been following your journey. For probably about 2 years now. So I've seen the growth in the shoots. I've seen you take more and more risk and expand and your following grow. And so it's just so inspirational as a creative, a Black woman, to see you grow the way that you are, because that says that we can make it. We can all do it. And so I appreciate you for that. So,
Thank you.
all
Oh,
right,
and
everyone.
never, one more thing, and always just know that people are always watching you. I have been like recently with things I can't say, but things that are coming up, I've noticed
Yeah.
that it's just like, oh, people have been watching me. So just always keep that in mind. If you're a creator
Yeah.
or whatever, people are always watching you, and they may not say it, but a couple years or a year or a few months down the line,
Quietly lurking.
yep. But it's not always bad. It's not always bad. They could help you out. So, yeah, that was
Yeah.
okay. But thank
No, great.
you for
Great.
having. Honestly, this was great. I was so nervous. Oh my gosh.
Don't be. This was great. And the nerves are all a part of it. So, thank you guys. Thank everybody that attended. And thank you, Kimberly. If you are ready for the next session, just move over. We're starting at 5:15. And Kimberly,
Yes.
we have some virtual performances coming up in networking. So I hope that you can tune in, because I make a little cameo and you can see some of the video productions that some artists have worked with. So thank everybody and see you later.
Thank you. And thank you, everybody else.